This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, point is verse 11. And it reads, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Verse 12, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua that they're listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. This lesson is inspired by, I was going to do a lesson on something I was thinking about earlier today, but I happened to listen to the one brother from, the elder brother from, Cali. He's doing a lesson right now, I believe it's live, and he's showing the blood moon. Now, I know the blood moon was like last month on the 28th. I didn't try to even go look at it. I believe he said that he happened to, like the spirit jumped on him, he said he happened to look, or the spirit told him to look up, and he looked up and he saw it. Yeah. Now, I wasn't, trying to even concerned about trying to see it. What was that, a couple years back when you had that eclipse? I saw that. Because it was eerie, they had an eclipse during the day, and a lot of shit, a lot of things sped up right after that too. That was a spiritual thing. But it's spiritual what I'm talking about now, because pretty much I'm on my way to go, I'm on my way home, and I dropped a guy that I work with off on my way to, it's like on the way, I jump on the freeway, I drop him off, I jump back on the freeway, because it's like right there, and boom, I'm head to my side of town. And once we got along a certain point of the freeway, it got real foggy on the road. Now, in my area where I stay at, in the neck of the woods, it's nothing but a fog. It makes you think of that movie, The Mist. And it was a dude, I remember growing up and seeing just weird shit. Like, it's a dude just in a wheelchair riding around on a wheelchair, but you can't even see. It made me think about, what year was that? I think I was in college at the time. So that might have been like 2004 when they had that blackout around the whole country. A lot of people lost service and whatnot. Me and my sister stayed together at the time, and I think I had service, but I don't think she did, or we both had service, and we both had different carriers, but a lot of people didn't have service, and I'll never forget. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because, I was a nigga back then, but, I'll never forget. And, niggas thrive in dangerous environments, because where I grew up at, put it like this, the situation supposed to be one thing with me and a particular dude and some females, but because I was looking out for my dude, I didn't move fast enough, I got left. So my dude had to drop me off at EC, and
administration will now provide full coverage auto insurance to drivers.
And I'll never forget the fact that when he was dropping me off, I'm talking about it's pitch black out here, and while we pulling up to like where I stay at, or where I used to stay at, it was like 30 motherfuckers. You can't see them in the dark. They was like roaches. Just niggas and flies, what I'm saying? Niggas and flies. But the point being is, this is a very eerie spiritual moment right now, And it's all, like, I didn't even go, like, spirit didn't jump on me to go really look into, this whole, what did they call that? With the planets.
Here, I'm going to show you how to put 60
with the planets marching or whatever. But the spirit didn't jump on me to look into it. But after, like, saying, hearing brothers speak on it, when you look at that video, look at how much has happened since that whole blood moon. A lot has happened, showing you the times we in. Scriptures talk about signs in the heavens. So, again, I had a whole different lesson prepared, but then I was listening to the elder brother's video, because he was like, it's over with. He was like, it's over with. He was just going into, different veteran sayings, different things, which, men are more resolved at certain shit, especially like them war veteran type of individuals, a real man, he gonna sit up there like either He ain't sugarcoating shit. You know, I got a female friend, and she's sitting up here talking about, I explained to her, I'm like, because we was talking about going on trips and shit, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I've done shit, but I ain't get to do everything that, you know what I mean? And you wondering when the time is, but the scriptures talk about, what's that in Matthew chapter 16? You can't decide, you can see, you can't decide, you can decide, you can discern the weather, but you can't discern the sign of the times that we living in. You know, this ain't the time to be taking no trips. So I told her that, but this goofy bitch sit up there, and it's like she got mad. I'm like, you know, I mean, just showing you how goofy these women are, or like when I send her videos about what's going on in the world, she'll like the video. And I asked her today, I said, well, why do you like it when you really nervous or really don't like it? You really worried. And she said, because I forgot how she said it. It's just some stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it came back to what the elder and the elders was just saying. Like I was listening to a particular elder yesterday, and he was saying, we ain't got time, you know, all that shit, like you going back and forth with your Eve or your woman or your children's mother, however you want to label her, and she not, you know, she ain't trying to get right. We pushing on, you know, Satan jumping on my daughters to do well, not even all of them, it's just one, you know what I mean? So again, all these different little distractions to keep you off the path, you know, what he's saying, go child, stay on the path, you know what I'm saying? This stupid ass girl don't even have that fucking hat on. So Lakia, I lost train of thought of what I was speaking on, but oh yeah, like the elder was saying, he said, we ain't got time, we pushing forward, you know what I mean? No matter what the distraction is, because like I said in that song, you know, he said nothing else matters. You know, he said so close but so far, you know, because, you know, and we know we close. You know what I mean? Like the elders say, pretty much we waiting on that, you know, mass implementation, you know, mandatory implementation of that micro C-HIP. You know, but you know, you got other things like that. I believe the money gonna fail first, you know, me myself, because they gotta have a reason to entice you to be able to, you know, why would you want to take this if you don't got to? You know, I don't receive government benefits because of the fact that I'm just cheap and don't want to work. Like, I mean, you know, and again, to be honest, show you how much of a demon my demon was. This bitch was literally getting the food stamps while I used to have to pay for the food out of pocket. And I was doing it, but we all see how the price of goods went up. Come to find out, just showing you that nothing that he, and then the crazy part is these hoes gonna want you to feel sorry for them. Like, you got to think about it. What did you do that the Lord gonna put you in a situation where you ain't gonna have no man coming to your rescue? You know, and you can see that cold spirit that's in the earth now. Like people that, like back in the day, a man don't know what the situation is and call himself literally like, "What's up? You okay?" or whatever the fuck. That spirit is dead. Motherfucking raccoon just rampant. Yeah, the predators out here. And like I said again, it looks so eerie out here because again, there's some fog so you can barely see, but you got motherfuckers maneuvering and walking through this shit. I just saw a dude on a wheelchair, barely could motherfucking get around, but he out in motherfucking the fog, like the mist. Then I was thinking about, I was hoping to try to, the Lord bless me to get another car, right? Funny part about this is this, to show you how Babylon is completely like, you know, stick a fork in this bitch for real. This bitch cook, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, you know, funny part about it is I was gonna get a car from this dealership before. So, you know, I just so happened to be going through online and came across the dealer. Well, I didn't even know it's a dealership. You know, I'm on Facebook. And long story short, somebody respond back and they like, yeah, such and such. They like, you don't need no driver's license. You don't need no bad credit. So literally they want to try to put you in a motherfucking $30,000, $40,000 vehicle without driver's license, which is illegal. You know what I'm saying? So that's how desperate these people is. And it made me think about like with this whole housing situation. Like, I can't think of the name of the company, but how I was gonna get this house was through this company. And the dude John Williams was speaking on it, and that was one of the reasons why that motivated me not to do the shit, because pretty much it's like predatory lending, you know. And then I heard a particular brother, you know, one of the Jersey brothers, I heard him say something, you know, he's like, basically a lot of people, you know, they putting people in situations knowing that they can't afford to pay this. You know, what happens? You're gonna have to finance this car, which the bank ain't giving out loans, but they'll give you out this loan, and then they looking at it like later on you gonna miss a payment, or you gonna be able not to catch up or keep up with the payments, and they gonna come back and repossess. This is how fucked up all this is. They can't sell homes. They can't sell these cars. This bitch is done. This bitch is toasted. This book of Jeremiah chapter 51. And I'm going to start at verse 1 and read subtitle, Babylon Judged for Sins Against Israel. And it reads, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And, you know, I was speaking on another lesson, you know, again, you seeing all these nations assemble. You know, right now, it's looking like NATO is all in, you know, they was talking about France, Germany, and the UK all. I think they said some other people too just recently, basically, no, that's got something to do with something else. It's something that Moab or China doing, that France, UK, and Germany all, it's got something to do with, like, you know, the citizens and the people with passports or whatnot. But ultimately, like the scriptures talk about, is prophetic, it's prophecy for, you know, what Revelation 17, the beast shall hurt the whore. You know, these other nations, you know, again, and when you see in Babylon the Great's mindset, and then people seeing how weak she really is, little video I the regime that's in power now should actually choose a leader out of it. And right after he said that shit, they bombed the I forgot what it's called, but they had, like, I just did a lesson on it. They literally held like a council to actually choose the next leader, but they bombed it. I'm talking about the devil for real. So, you know, again, this man knows nothing about peace. They'll call a ceasefire, but then attack you. This motherfucker weak, man. That's like a motherfucker sitting up there talking about he don't want to fight, and then when you turn your back on him, he come and sucker punch you. Bitch. Verse 2, And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land, for in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, which is going into those ICBMs, and against him that lifteth himself up in his bright brigadine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. And that's the spirit, because the elder brother was going into, he did a lesson and showing, you know, they might have been Jake, they look like the Northern Kingdom, but, you know, basically going off the war. You know, you can see it in their spirit. This young dude probably, you know, it sound good, military sound good when it ain't no war. You know, I think about that often. I was like, you know, when I was a knucklehead, I was, you know, they tried to get me to go to the service, but I'm like, my daddy was funny. But long story short, yeah, not my daddy, but I'm talking about like the school. I'm like, nigga, I'm a nigga. I'm like, we selling this shit. What are you talking about? Hey, fuck, I'm gonna go to there for. Little do you know, all this shit was just a wicked ass fucking place. Even if running in the streets, to be in his military, you get what I'm saying? When you realize what this man does, this man literally snatches and occupies territories for their resources. You know, raping, pillaging, plundering these other nations. And he showed you that with the Venezuela situation. So yeah, it says your young man, and spare ye not her young men. With a lot of men about to be sacrificed, and these women. You know, the elder did a video showing that female, she up there nervous now. And like I said again, we all Well, not certain individuals that have a certain age, but let it get bad enough. Like my brother used to say, my brother was, he ain't crippled, but he had a back injury. And he a realist enough. He said, shit, let this shit get bad enough. Well, I haven't talked to my brother in like, I don't know fucking how long, probably in a decade or something. But I haven't talked to my brother since I was like homeless. So, like a decade. No bullshitting. But I remember him saying that, like right after his accident, he said, let this shit get bad enough. He could see certain things for what they is, but he wasn't given the spirit. He could see some nigga shit, from a mile away. A nigga about to do some nigga shit. Yeah, he can see that. That ain't really no superpower, though. You know what I mean? Like, what we got is the superpower. We see what the Lord about to do. The Lord could stop a nigga in his tracks. But he said himself, he said, shit. He said, let this shit get bad enough, being my injury and all, they have put on that front. Well, he said, they'll have me drive a tank or something. You a body, nigga. Shoot. Verse 4, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver her, man. And deliver her. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And you seeing that build up to the Jacob's trouble coming now. But it's not even gonna just be Jacob's trouble. It's gonna be everybody. Jacob's trouble gonna spill over to everybody's trouble. And a lot of brothers in the spirit, you can see that. It's gonna be war over there, and simultaneously it's gonna be good. It's gonna be chaos and destruction over here. You think ICE just went somewhere? Listen, you forgot that Trump still got the National Guard on like standby. You think they went over there like that? I guarantee you he got National Guard tucked away. Because what they gonna ultimately do is do a draft. Let enough bodies fall on the ground. Come on, and then like I said, it's not by coincidence that they changed up how they do the draft. You used to have to basically, you would get put into the draft or selective service by pretty much signing up for grant money or going to college and getting those free funds. I think with his administration, they just basically automatically put you in it. So a lot of people, ultimately it's all the will of the Lord, wherever you end up at, including me. It says, I read that part, verse 7, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. The nations drunken of her philosophies, Then they come to find out that this whore is one of the most selfish motherfuckers. He does it. I was watching the video that the elder did with DJ Trump. Talking about with the Canada thing, trying to bully some shit. And that nigga did it so smooth. The prime minister or whoever that individual was for Canada, that nigga say, nigga, what we gonna do is, so now that we fucked up, not only because they closed the Strait of Hormuz, I have trouble pronouncing. I have a slur, Hormuz. But basically in that region, a lot of goods get brought through there, especially oil. And pretty much being that Iran basically closed the strait, we about to have ridiculous gas prices. On top of the fact, you got the situation with Canada, like a double whammy. Like what show was that? That's not Price is Right, I don't think. But no whammies, big bucks. That nigga thought he was gonna hit the big bucks and had a double whammy. That nigga is a dumbass. I told y'all that. Everybody, like I say, you trying to play bully shit. And like I said, Charles White even said that. He said, man, you can deal with a dude like Putin and these other world leaders that actually command respect from the men that they fuck with. They get out there, they, like an Alexander the Great, they out there in the dirt with they men, like Julius Caesar type shit. Like a real leader is supposed to do. There's one thing, I don't know that man, so I don't really speak on him, but they talk about the general. You ain't been out there in decades, but you sitting up here, like, you know, the thing I've always heard, the leader or, you know, the boss should be the one to show you to do something. Because, like I say, if the boss ain't gonna do it, why would, you know what I mean? That's a true leader. It says Babylon is suddenly falling. I don't think I read that part. It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain? Balm is a healing ointment, but this place can't be healed. No matter what you do to it, they pretty much done with it. That's why they letting this shit just. Look at how they just letting this shit. They cut off all this aid, knowing people gonna starve and be fucked up, and violence and crime and all these things gonna pretty much be perpetuated and, you know, increase and all that. They know what the fuck they doing. They just don't give a fuck. And they showing you what type of demon this dude really is. But the funny part about wicked ass people to me is they'll do some wicked shit and then expect you to feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? Like, while people talking about, oh yeah, you got the report on me, like, ask any motherfucking body that anytime they need it. See, it's funny to me though. I was such this motherfucking hothead and all these different things. Everybody got something to say. But when you needed something from me, you was come and ask me for it too, right? I was a brother then. I wasn't a hothead then. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the end of the day, I'm content and I'm gonna deal with my situation. Man, this shit look eerie. And I've seen times in my lifetime seeing, like, it's a weird ass fog just over the whole city, man. Or it's been over where I've been at, you know what I mean? To the point where it's fogging out my windows in my car. Lord, bring judgment. You know, it's a death angel. You know, I remember one Passover when I was still dealing with my demon, and I got all the leaven out the house, or I believe I did, and we when I left out, I think the next day was like campers. It was something that I had to do. I left out, and it's a rapid station near where she stayed at. I can't say we, because the bitch was putting me out left and right. Although I got this bitch off the street. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, I don't feel sorry for this bitch with what she gonna get. I mean, I know you want mercy and all that, but no, some people don't deserve mercy. I might not deserve it. Ain't that what Jake said? There's a spirit. You know what I mean? The spirits ain't don't do, you know what I mean? But again, my help ain't gonna come from man. You know? Man couldn't help me now. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought about that. You know, Jake sitting up there, you might be in good standing with the cap, but yet still, doesn't mean that. I remember when Jake said everybody's, you know, came up with the idea we gonna meet over here. You know, so if you can get your family over there, or you can get there, okay, great. If not, well, you better have the Lord. So ultimately, it's your walk with the Lord, period, any motherfucking way. And like I said again, I'm not no fake and phony motherfucker for real. A lot of fake ass niggas sitting up there making them seem like they real niggas. Don't be mad at me because you, like I said, did that to yourself. I didn't do that shit. Like I said, you did that. Be mad at yourself and you how about some y'all shot. But ultimately, like I said again, with all these snares and traps, you know, made me think about this because again, like DJ Trump tried to call himself going over there, and then it kind of do still look staged, you know what I'm saying? For him to make that statement, but it was funny that he made that statement. So I don't know if they working in cahoots. You know, there's so much motherfucking misinformation, so much going on. You like, what the fuck really going on? But I do remember seeing an article, because I got like Metro. So Metro bringing out news, and a lot of times I'll be trying to read the articles that they bring out, and it won't let me. But it was saying something about, he made a statement talking about, yeah, they should pick a leader out of their regime right now. And then just today, they bombed that bitch. They bombed the assembly. I'm talking about the devil. But with all these, like I said again, these different little tactics and shit that they doing is ultimately a snare upon himself. Because you shouldn't have never went over there. Because y'all, they're not coming out of there like that. Listen, do you understand the amount of resources and money that has had to be put into them actually taking all them warships and jets and soldiers over there? They not coming back. And what they gonna do is, like I said, yeah, they about to do something. You probably start drafting. You gotta remember, they already passed the budget. You know, they say Iran is ready to, you know, they in it for the long haul. They not trying to negotiate. While Babylon the Great pretty much thought that they was gonna do some old super soldier shit like they did with the Maduro shit. That's what make me think was the Maduro shit, like some stage shit. Because I keep on thinking like, well, damn, you a Venezuelan. Why do you got Cubans guarding you? You know, the Cuban more expendable than your own people if you really love your people, right? If you a real true leader, that, you know, like the elders was saying, you could pretty much see that Zelensky was pretty much a sacrifice of his people, you know. But, you know, you got some people that really truly love, you know, the men up under them, you know. This is the book of Micah chapter 2, and starting at verse 1, and it reads, Micah 2 and verse 1, and it reads, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, which ultimately goes into these elites. You know, the scriptures talk about how pretty much they don't sleep well unless they get something to go off. You know, they getting pleasure out of watching us. Who said that? Squeal. I think that was Dune. I want to squeeze. He was, the first Dune, the original Dune. The original Dune had that dude, what the fuck is his name? I think he played in, what did he play in? Because he played in a movie where he was an alien. He played in a few different movies. I can't think of dude's name right now. But, you know, it had Sting in it, it had a few different people in it. He was like, I want to make him squeal. And that's how these Edomites is, man. Like, they getting pleasure in this shit. They getting pleasure in seeing, you know, these Babylonians helpless, you know, downtrodden. But the thing is, they also see that, you know, we amped up. We all on it. And like I said again, we welcoming this. We enjoying this. Just like they enjoy bringing suffering, we enjoying the fact that, you know, they up there nervous. You can see they fucking nervous. I forgot what elder said that. They said, shit, they really don't want to go in them bunkers, but they also trying to preserve their own asses, you know. But this place is pretty much a wrap. And like I said again, they devised all these wicked ass devices, you know, these imaginations, this plot, scheme, plan to, you know, do away with this order and bring in a fucking dystopian society where they just gonna. What's the name of that movie? It's a movie where elites was up in like the skyscrapers and the high rises while all the, you know, just the top copper tops, they was on the ground, and it was a robot in the movie. I think it's called Metropolis. It's like an old ass movie, and when you look at the movie, why I always remember it in my mind is because it's a 5-pointed star in it, or it's a 6-pointed star, but it's a, you know, it's a hexagram or a pentagram in the movie, right behind the fucking the robot. When I vision the movie, I think of that. So they was doing some wicked shit. They didn't apply. You know, when you go back to Elon Musk and his grandfather, they've been, you know, their whole thing was they wanted a society that was so that's a wicked device. But I'm gonna end it with this. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 26, and verse 27, and it reads. I'm gonna start up. It says, verse 23, burning lips and a wicked heart or mind are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. And that's going towards really them Edomites. Because like I said again, that dude, DJ Trump, sat and looked everybody in the eye and lied. I mean, but, you know, if you was in the proper spirit, you already know not to trust. Scriptures say never trust thine enemy. So majority of us laugh at y'all. You know what I mean? This motherfucker talking about making America great again. You know, even if you got the little tax refund, be great. It seemed like I feel like my car about to die, you know. I call on him, Yahweh Shemiyah, that the Lord kept me and preserved to the point of, you know, giving me an opportunity to get something else, you know. Lord willingly. Because again, like I said, at any time, you know, you know, this shit can go down. It made me laugh because I'm like, these motherfuckers sitting up here, they are desperate. But it's so scandalous as well, you know what I mean? Like, how the fuck you gonna give a person, you know, that's desperation for real. When he speak of fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Verse 26, whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Verse 27, the point. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. So, you know, what goes around comes around. You know, again, and like I said, they set up this whole, you know, like, you know, because you gotta understand, this whole idea of what they're trying to bring forth is not just from yesterday or 10 years ago. This is centuries in the making. And it's all to their detriment because ultimately it's going to be a snare onto them, you know. So like one elder always say, he say, you know, this is one of the stupidest plans ever because the Lord going to judge you for it. And when all eyes see him, we gonna see what that weirdo Noah Huvel Harari or whatever the fuck his name is gonna say then. Cause ain't no bunker gonna save you. Ain't no space station. You know, these motherfuckers gonna be trying to scramble like roaches, and it don't matter because what's that scripture it talks about? We try to hide from the Heavenly Father. And he say, I go to the bottom of the earth and he is there. He said, go to the top of the heavens and he is there. How you gonna escape the creator that created all this? That's how foolish these devils is. So I'm gonna end the lesson there. Lord willing, you got some kind of edification out of this. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power. Your true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh. Hashem Yahushua, you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Paul, Lord, Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwata to listening and learning. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to the truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwame Asherallah and Mawaf Lababal.